It's now live, Bento Bureau.
Itadakimasu!
Welcome to Bento Bureau, where we talk about Japan from an international perspective with a side dish of social, political discussions. Today, we are going to introduce our second season of Bento Bureau, and we're very excited that your listeners are still following us.
Yay!
This season, a lot of things are going to change. We have put a lot of effort and time in it to make this channel even better. And we have learned a lot from the first season, so we hope that we can make the best out of it. Well, today I'm going to be the host. My name is Bastian Hart, as you hopefully know. And with me is...
Oh yeah, I'm Buzz.
I'm Jess.
I'm Iji from Thailand.
Perfect, thank you guys. And as you can see, we have the same crew as last year. Though, today our topic is going to be about hafu. That means basically Japanese who have a different nationality as well and live in Japan, or in other countries, have lived in other countries too. And because of that, we have two guests with us. On the left,
Jessica.
and on the right,
Akili, yoroshiku onegaishimasu.
And we are very happy that you guys are here. And today we would like to ask you some questions and about your nationality, identity, your experiences here in Japan, and how your life is here as well. And therefore we have prepared a couple of questions, and we would like you to, if you want, to answer them. If you don't want, that's fine too. And
Before we get too deep into this conversation, first of all, I would like to clarify that we're not necessarily focusing exactly on hafu today. We're talking about identity in Japan, because actually our guests are they don't exactly fit the criteria of what hafu is to a certain extent. So we've kind of changed the topic just a little bit, and we're going to be focusing a little bit more on identity and what it means to be Japanese. So we're very interested to be getting into this subject with our two guests today, who do in fact fit this criteria of like they do identify with Japan, being Japanese in some way.
I just wanted to use hafu because it sounds cooler.
Good for
Destroying everything. Okay, so before that, let's do an introduction. Why don't you start, Jessica? Ladies first.
Okay, what can I say? My name is Jessica. I have lived in Brazil for 9 years, and then I moved to Japan with my parents, and I'm here since then.
What are you studying? What are you doing here?
I study international relations.
Okay, how long?
First year.
First year student,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you very much. And you're Akili?
Okay, hey, my name is Akili, half Jamaican, half Japanese, born in Jamaica, raised in Japan, went to America for a few years, and settled here for studying English, I guess, business. Thank you.
So are you first year, second year?
This will be my second year.
Second year. Okay, very good. Thank you very much.
Wait, so can I ask, how many years in total have you stayed in Japan, Akili?
In total, let me see, it's about 8 years, I guess, yeah,
Wow.
in total.
Which schools have you attended in Japan?
In Japan, I went to an elementary school in Kochi Prefecture for my 3rd year to the 5th year, and junior high school, I went to, a junior high school in Kanagawa for the 2nd year and the 3rd year, and the high school there for the 1st year to the 3rd year. So yeah.
So you have experienced the Japanese school life, basically.
Yeah, I did.
So you've been here 8 years, and you have been here, you said, 9 years.
9 years.
Did you experience the same as school life, or?
No, because I have always studied in Brazilian schools.
So you've been here in Japan for 9 years?
For 9 years, but studying in Brazilian schools, living among Brazilians, so...
Ah, I see. Okay.
Can you tell us more about the Brazilian school? How it's different than like regular Japanese high school or middle school?
It's not so restrictive. You can do a lot of stuff. You have a lot of free time, actually. You just have to study a little bit, and then you can go home and do whatever you want. It's not so...
Do the students in Brazilian school also go to like juku or to a cram school like the Japanese do?
No, they don't.
So it's not as like serious as intensive?
No, it's not so intensive.
Oh.
Wait, so let me ask about the curriculum of the school that you went to. Was it the same school for 9 years, or
Yeah.
did you really?
Yeah, 9 years.
It was a private school, correct?
Private school. A little bit expensive, but...
So I would like to clarify. What she just said is she has been living here in Japan for 9 years, but she went to a Brazilian school here in Japan. I was kind of confused when I heard it the first time as well, but there do exist international schools and universities, as you know from us. So you guys have definitely a totally different experience, and it would be cool to actually find somehow a comparison. So you said it wasn't that strict, and it wasn't like it was not as hard. You mean?
Yeah, it was not that hard.
Intensive, yeah. So it was basically you go home after school and then. You don't
That's
have.
all.
That's all. That's all.
You just have to study for text and stuff like this, but that's okay.
And any other aspects you thought about, like are different compared to Japanese high schools, middle schools?
I have never been in a Japanese school, so I don't know how they work, but I believe it's much harder.
Okay.
Much harder.
Did you initially want to attend a Japanese school when you first came here?
No, never.
Hold on, so wait, where were you living before you came to Japan?
Brazil?
In Brazil,
Yeah.
so you lived there for like half of your life, basically.
Yeah, half of my life.
And when did you go to the US? When was it, Akili?
Okay, from the 5th period to junior high, I went there for 3 to 4 years. Yeah.
So you both have experiences living abroad. Maybe her more so to a certain extent, living her first half of her life in Brazil and then moving to Japan. So why is it that you first moved to Japan in the first place, Jessica?
Sorry?
Why did you come to Japan in the first place?
My parents got a job here in a factory, so we had to move everyone.
I see. And you lived where in Japan when you first came?
In Shizuoka.
Shizuoka.
Yeah, it's a very, very international city.
Really?
There are a lot of people.
So do you see native Japanese children attending the Brazilian schools, or
No.
is it just mostly all Brazilians?
All Brazilians.
All from foreign countries?
Yeah.
So Jessica, you are a quarter Japanese,
Yeah.
right? So your mom or your dad, which one is the hafu?
My father.
Oh, your father.
Yeah.
So when he got like a job at a factory in Japan, is that also because he's like a hafu?
Yeah, it's very easy.
Oh, it's much easier if you are
Yeah,
hafu.
Brazilians actually who are not descendants cannot come to Japan. They can, but there are a lot of bureaucracy.
Oh.
So can your father speak Japanese?
No,
Can you speak Japanese?
I'm learning now.
Oh, okay.
Intensive Japanese.
Was there like a Japanese language class in the school that you attended?
Yeah, but was just to have. We didn't learn anything.
So what do the students normally do after they graduate from high school? Because they do not like take an intensive Japanese courses, so they will have hard time like passing the center examination to the university. So what do they normally do?
Most of them go back to Brazil. Some start working on factories, and some go to foreign universities like I did,
Oh.
where they can get speaking English.
Ah, that's why you came here.
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
Is that another reason for you why you came here to an international university? Because you've been to a Japanese school,
Yeah.
really, and now you decided to go to an international university. What made you make that decision actually in the first place? How was your school life, and how would you compare it to now, and what is different?
Okay, so first of all, I came to Japan because I wanted to go to a high school in Japan.
Okay.
But for the university, I was planning on going to, going abroad and study, at America, I guess. But I heard about this international university and they're teaching English, so I thought, why not come to the international, TIU. So, yeah.
So for you, you wanted to study in English?
Yeah, in English, yeah.
Why did you want to study first in Japanese and now in English?
No, I mean, not like studying Japanese, but I just wanted to be a high school student in Japan.
I see. Okay.
So wait, you wanted to attend a Japanese high school,
yeah,
which means that you had to take the entrance exam, correct?
Yeah, that was really, really hard.
Because you said, what years did you attend a Japanese middle school?
Middle school, it's like a year and a half in total, yeah.
So how did you prepare yourself for the entrance exam?
Well, I haven't went to, the jukus in Japan, but my mom and my grandparents teach me how to read, to write, and stuff like that. And I worked hard on, speaking, writing, and stuff. So, and I got, I got past the entrance test, so I went to a public school in Japan.
Wow. What was the most difficult subject for you to study for the entrance?
Definitely.
The language.
Yeah, Japanese. Japanese. It was horrible at first. It was really horrible at first.
Could you speak Japanese before? Did you have any knowledge?
Yeah, I could speak Japanese, but reading and writing, kanjis and stuff, I wasn't really good at it. But
it's like looking in a mirror.
I'm interested to know, considering your multi-nationalities, what culture, since you are multi-ethnic, both of you, what culture do you feel you are closer to? For example, Jessica is half Brazilian. Do you feel closer to your Brazilian culture or the Japanese, or, can you guys tell me a little bit more about that?
Maybe a mix of both.
Can you tell me what you mean by that?
Because I'm 9 years since I have been in Brazil, so I don't remember so much, and even living among Brazilians and talking to them, it's not the same. We are different from people living there.
What do you mean exactly by being different? Can you tell me a little bit more about how specifically? What do you mean by that?
Okay, in Brazil, people cheat a lot. I don't know if you understand it.
You mean they're more open-minded, or they, for example, they play music on the streets and they
chant us and everything. And here in Japan, we have learned that how terrible it is and how wrong it is. So we don't do it. It's so wrong, and they're not so polite. So some little differences that end up being a lot.
But you lived in Brazil for the first half of your life, so you grew up with that culture.
Yeah.
So did you still feel like you were different to them when you were growing up?
Yeah, a lot.
Is it because your family...
I was very young.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it because your family acts differently?
Maybe because of this, but mainly because of the people I'm living outside my family, like friends and relatives who live here already, teachers.
Your friends in Brazil, are they all fully Brazilian, or do they come from the same situation as you?
Most of them are fully Brazilian.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to know, you said that you grew up in the Brazilian community, and that's something very special here in Japan. Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit more about the community? Everything you know about it, that would be very nice to hear for us and also for the listeners maybe.
Okay, in Hamamatsu, it's a city in Shizuoka. There are a lot of Brazilians. They usually work on factories because that's how they can get the only job they can get without knowing Japanese. And they're if they need anything, you can just call a translator.
Wow, call a translator?
Yeah, translator.
So do you have to pay for the translator?
Yeah.
I see.
You have to pay. Sometimes. but most of the times you have.
And there's like certain translators who would translate from Spanish. Portuguese.
Portuguese.
I'm so sorry. I always mix up Mexico and Brazil. It's really true. I'm so sorry. I didn't know
No problem.
I always mix those up. So they would translate from Portuguese to Japanese and
vice versa.
Vice versa.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And so you weren't actually exposed to any kind of Japanese culture, Japanese tradition or like people because you were in that community. Like, were there any Japanese at all?
I started work on a factory before TIU for 5 months to get some money, and I knew a few Japanese there.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So
we talked a little.
They still work with Japanese people together.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Okay. Okay, interesting.
So, do you have any Japanese friends or people who you think that are consider your friends?
I don't think so.
Really?
No, just international people.
So you've basically been surrounded with the people you've known and are more similar to you than in Japan, like the people who are half Brazilian.
Yeah.
In those communities in Hamamatsu, it's obviously a very famous place for having lots of people who are coming from Brazilian ethnicity.
Yeah.
So you grew up in that community.
I grew up in that community.
Yeah. We'd like to ask more questions about that, living in that community, but let's switch the conversation to
Okay.
and ask him a little bit more. Ask him the same question. Do you feel like you are closer to your Japanese ethnicity or your Jamaican ethnicity?
Yeah, I feel more Japanese than Jamaican because I was born in Jamaica and I've lived there for until my 3rd grade, but I really don't remember about like being in Jamaica and living there, and I haven't been back to Jamaica since the 3rd grade. So yeah, and the environment right now I'm in, it's like almost all of them are Japanese, and there are a lot of hafu around my environment because in Kanagawa, I live near the Atsugi base, the American base. So Atsugi base is like right near beside my house, and like everyone living there, like the surroundings are hafu from different countries and stuff. So yeah, like living there, I feel more Japanese than Jamaican, I guess.
So that's very interesting, considering how you feel more Japanese, but you were also surrounded by many people from you were living in an international community.
Yeah.
Just like how we are going in university now, where we meet people from all over the world.
Yeah.
So was it like that the whole time you were growing up, or was it different when you were going to school?
No. It was totally different when I was in elementary school, because I lived in Shikoku Prefecture when I was in the elementary school, and there it was a really, really rural area. So my family was like the only Gaijin family there, like in the city. And it was like really, really rare to see, a Jamaican person in that place. So, well, I had a hard time there, but like the people, my mother's like family and friends treated me really well. So I can say that makes me more, feel like I'm more, Japanese there, yeah.
So Akili, you say you were treated a bit differently. You had a hard time.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, could you tell?
Yeah, sure. Like, it's really rare to see a hafu, and my appearance, I say hafu, but I look like a full Jamaican. I don't really look a hafu, so
we're gonna put the picture up on it.
I don't really look hafu, so yeah, it was really rare for this. Well, my peer people in the elementary school, so they treated me, well, differently at first. Like, it was some kind of like ijime at first, but, we talk to each other and we like know each other when from time to time, and we became friends, and we, right now we're having like contact every single month or weeks or depends. But
what about your experience in middle school and high school? Does like it get better as you go?
Yeah, well, it was because that the middle school and the high school I went to was in Kanagawa, and Kanagawa is like really international, and there are, that I mentioned earlier, that a lot of hafu, and in my junior high school and high school there were a lot of hafus there, and it wasn't really a rare thing, so they like treated me like equally from the first time, so there weren't really a problem in junior high school and high school.
So during elementary school,
Yeah.
or even now actually, when you go to a Japanese person and you tell them that you're half Japanese, how do
they were
see
well
you?
well first they would be like, you're hafu.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, well, I won't blame them because of the appearance. I don't really look Japanese, but yeah, they treated me like a gaijin. So when I go to the city offices, they would like ask me for the resident card or something like that, and I have to say no, I'm Japanese, and they'll be like, oh, sumimasen.
But when you introduce yourself, do you tell them that you're hafu, or do you
No, I
tell them
don't
that
really.
you're Japanese?
No, I really don't tell them I'm hafu at first, but they'll ask me where I'm from and things like that. So I say I'm half Jamaican and half Japanese.
How's that experience for you? Are you telling, how do you see your identity? Are you having that experience when you go to a Japanese person, you would tell them, I'm actually like quarter Japanese, and they wouldn't see it, of course, they would ask you probably, so like maybe like after the residence card. Did you have those kind of experiences?
Yeah, but they don't ask me so much. Maybe because I look a little bit like Japanese, just a little bit, because of the eyes.
We're gonna put up another picture. But so, when you introduce yourself, how do you introduce yourself to other Japanese people?
I introduce myself as Brazilian.
As Brazilian,
Yeah.
I see. Okay. That's very interesting.
So do you have like an experience of the Japanese just come up to you and speak Japanese to you?
Some.
Is that sometimes?
Some of them, yeah.
So you had that experience, but I guess, have you had that experience that some Japanese would come up to you and speak Japanese?
They would try at first to speak in English to me, but I'll say, oh no, 大丈夫です. Nihongo 大丈夫です. It's okay in Japanese and stuff like that, and weird. It really feels weird because I can speak Japanese, but they're like treating me like I can't speak Japanese. It's weird, but it's really fun.
So, actually, how do you feel like as of a Japanese society as a whole? Do they feel they still treat like people with mixed ethnicity differently compared to how they treat Japanese? In recent news, there's a news of a Miss Universe Japan who is actually half black, half Japanese, and there was actually a backlash when she got crowned.
That the same thing happened with Miss Japan, or the half Indian.
Wasn't it Miss Japan?
Yes,
it was Miss Japan.
This happened twice in a row,
it happened
2 years
like-
consecutively.
The most recent one was the winner was, I believe, half Japanese, half Indian, right?
Oh, it happened again this year?
Yeah, it happened
Oh.
twice in a row.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and there was backlash, like people saying on Twitter, like, I do not feel she should represent Japan because she's like not like purely Japan. But there's this myth of like pureness in Japanese history. So how do you feel about that, Akili?
Yeah, I think most of the Japanese people like expect, an Japanese appearance first, because like, I don't know, they, how can I say it? Like they define Japanese from their appearance first and then inside. So as a hafu, if you look more Japanese, even if you're a hafu, they would not treat you like a gaijin.
I would like to ask a question to both of you.
Yes.
Going off of that, being hafu is a label given to you by other people in society. So I want to ask you about, what do you think about that topic? What do you think is being Japanese? What does being Japanese mean to you?
Okay, so ladies first.
it used to bother me at first because even in Brazil, people used to call me Japanese, and when I came to Japan, people started calling me Brazilian. So I felt like I didn't have a country. But now that I have grown up, I think that that's very good because I can know both countries.
Can I ask as well, do you think the term hafu, so being half, is appropriate to say? Because it sounds like, as you like say, you don't know which country you belong to.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're a half person or something. Do you feel that this label is inappropriate or not?
Maybe.
Maybe?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't
What
know
do you mean by that?
What do you mean by maybe?
Yeah.
I can tell you another word, perhaps.
Okay, that works for me.
What do you think about that labeling?
Labeling, hafu. I don't really mind.
Well, what do you think it means to be
It
Japanese?
means
What does
to be
being Japanese mean to you?
Let's go back to that question.
If you can blend into the Japanese society or not, I guess. Not only if you can speak Japanese or if you can use keigo or if you know the traditional way of being a Japanese. I think it doesn't mind that much. It's like, so the Japanese society doesn't really like people that, stick out. So if you can be one with the society, I think it won't be a problem. And being one with the society means it's being Japanese. That's my opinion.
So you think appearance plays a big factor?
It does plays a big factor, yeah. Because
so considering that, do you feel that you are not Japanese?
Well,
enough.
Well,
he considers himself Japanese, right?
I feel Japanese, but the other Japanese tend to treat me not like Japanese, but how can I say it?
Like, have you, considering your multinationality, have you ever felt that you are different to other people in society?
Yeah. I thought I was different from like the first because like the other people around me doesn't have the same skin as mine. Doesn't have like the same texture of hair as mine. So I've seen some differences, and I was shocked when I was in like elementary school because of that. But right now, I think like difference it might be a really great thing to have, like having, Jamaican and Japanese blood inside of me. I know how to think both ways in a kind of way. So it's not like a pure Japanese way of thinking.
Yeah, there's a saying that they are not really hafu, but they are like double, like twice the better, because they have both sides of their mother and their father. So that is actually nice.
Really?
Yes,
there's
also the term mixed roots, right? Mixed roots, if you have seen the documentary Hafu, where actually that's why we asked, some Hafu prefer to be called mixed roots because it sounds nicer and it sounds actually more appropriate. Because
Sounds
you're not
more
saying
like
like
it sounds more like a mouthful to me. I prefer hafu. It's literally just like hafu.
I mean, you are
Yeah,
basically
actually,
a half Jew. But we just kept you beside.
Yeah, just what do you think about that? What is it? Actually, let's ask you. What does it mean to be Japanese to
Well,
you?
it's my turn to be on the spotlight. Being Japanese, well, my opinion is pretty general because I did not grow up in Japan, obviously. So I guess part of being Japanese is, how do I say? Thinking about the person you're talking to or you're involved with or interacting with. I noticed that a lot more than when I was living in Guam or when I was in the U.S. Much more. Most people in America or in Guam, they just speak out their opinion. In Japan, it's more about, first off, the grammar changes depending on who you speak to. If you talk to your friends, you use tameguchi, which is like basically informal, and when you use keigo, it's for someone, which is like the polite form, it's for someone who's basically above you, like your boss or your maybe someone who's older than you. Obviously, in English, we don't have that type of system, right? So, of course, already linguistically speaking, you have to think about the person you're talking to, which is I think, a very typical aspect in a Japanese person. What else is very Japanese?
But you see it more from a language perspective.
Not only language, but just more like even how do you say it? The activities that you're involved with the person. Like if you try not to get the person involved too much. You try to do things by yourself and be like.
Are you getting nervous?
A bit nervous, yeah. First time talking this much, actually. God, I can't English right now.
What do you guys think about that? About what Jess was talking about?
Yeah.
Linguistic, for
yeah.
example, what do you think?
Do you feel like you have to think more about the person you're talking to when you speak to a Japanese person?
Yeah, it's very different. We don't have this in Portuguese too.
So do you feel like the dynamic is different when you speak to like a person from Portugal in comparison to a person from Japan?
Yeah, I don't have so many Japanese friends, but the few I do, yeah, it's a little bit different.
Why do you think it? Well, you said you don't have many Japanese friends, so do you find it difficult to bond with Japanese people?
A little, because I have never talked to them before the factory.
I see. Okay.
So wait, since you moved to, you first entered Tokyo International University, so
Yeah.
that basically means you left the Brazilian community, right?
Yeah.
What was it like having to suddenly integrate into Japanese society?
Well, I have been studying this in social psychology, something called anomy. I don't know if you know. When everything is different, that's exactly how I'm feeling right now. I have never been in this kind of situation before, but it's nice. I'm getting used.
Yeah, Professor Blackwood is going to love that.
So anomy is actually the breakdown of
Yeah.
social norms. So it's not exactly like it's kind of describing rapid change, like a change,
Yeah.
but it's used in a situation where you're talking about
Boss.
like how you are going to go crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's the
She's on the
Is that
verge.
how you see it? A little bit?
A little bit.
Why is that?
It's so different, and I have never been like this. I have always lived with my parents, and right now I have to live alone, pay my own bills, come to university, wake up in the morning without someone calling me.
You live alone?
I live alone.
So how is it like having to, obviously you have to deal with those things in Japanese, or do you have a translator?
Translator.
I see.
Oh, so you can still go back and ask the translator
Yeah.
to do the job. Oh,
That's
That's very
cool.
convenient.
his contact number too.
What about you, Akili? You moved to the United States.
Yeah.
At what age?
What's the age of
Well, like
elementary?
roundabout.
Around 10, 11-ish.
And how was your English at the time?
I was bad. It was bad. It was really bad. I couldn't have a conversation with the people in school because I was living in Japan for a few years, but I really forgot how to speak in English. By the way, Jamaica, we use English, but it's a bit different. It's called patois, but I can't speak it anymore. But yeah, it was really hard for me to learn English in the US and using it to have a conversation at that time.
So how did you feel first time you had to move into that society?
I felt isolated, but I got my family and I got my siblings with me, and inside the family we used Japanese mostly, and sometimes English to make it more easier outside our house.
Tell us about your families. I'd like to know more about you live by yourself right now?
Right now I'm living in the dorm.
Mm-hmm.
So When I was, in my hometown in Kanagawa, in my house, right now we use Japanese and English. Well, my father is Jamaican, but he can speak Japanese fluently. And my mom's Japanese, but she can speak English, so we use Japanese and English from time to time. If we don't know this kind of word in Japanese, we use it in English, and we do that the other way around as well. Yeah, it's really cool.
Do you have any siblings?
Siblings, yes. Including me, I have 6.
6 siblings.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm
brothers and sisters?
Okay, so
have to count first. Wait,
okay.
1.
So I have 4 brothers and 1 sister.
Wow.
Oh.
And I am like the oldest of all. Yeah.
So your brothers and sister also share the same experience with you, like you, staying in the US and also in Japan?
Well, 2 of my brothers, but the other 2 was born in Japan and raised in Japan, so they can't speak English at all. And my sister too. So like me and my 2 other brothers that are about in high school can speak English a bit, but they're forgetting English.
I would like to know, have you heard any experiences from them, how they were basically were they seen as Japanese, or were they seen as foreigners, or half in their schools? Have you heard anything just by chance?
No, I haven't heard of those things, but I think they feel more Japanese because they were born, and from the start they were in the Japanese society, so they don't really know about the environment overseas that much.
What? So you guys all speak Japanese with each other, I assume?
Yeah.
When you talk
mostly Japanese,
mostly
right now.
So would you say your family is more Japanese oriented or Jamaican oriented? Like,
I think more Japanese, but when my father's is inside, we tend to use more English because he doesn't really like using Japanese because he doesn't really understand that much.
Tell us a little bit more about your family, Jessica.
My family, we don't have this problem. They just speak Portuguese.
Portuguese?
Yes, Portuguese.
Do you have any siblings?
No.
Oh, you're the only child.
Only child.
Oh, okay.
And for me.
But when and how did they come to Japan?
Sorry?
When and how did they come to Japan?
Well, they got a job.
Yeah, I know, but why Japan? I mean, there are other possibilities as well. I'm just would like to know that.
Actually, I think Japan was the only choice.
Oh, there was
the only choice. Because they don't know English. So.
How was your hometown back in Brazil? Because Brazil is like have a huge inequality.
Yeah.
So I wonder what the situation was like.
It was
in your hometown.
not so. I didn't feel it. I was very young.
I see.
Yeah. I don't remember that much, but it was very nice. I never felt poor, But here in Japan, I could have much more things.
Did you go back there from time to time?
No.
Oh no.
No.
So you have been living in Japan for just straight 9 years?
9 years.
Wow.
Just talk to my grandparents by phone, but it's not the same.
Your grandparents come to visit from time?
No.
Oh no.
so do you consider Japan your home, or you consider Brazil your home?
Right now, Japan. Japan is my new home.
And have you been to your Brazilian community during the time you've been actually here, staying here at the dorm?
I went there last month. Yeah.
Last month. And was there any difference?
No, just the same.
Just
the same.
And well, you were saying about that you have been here already a long time and you like Japan a lot.
Yeah.
How do you? Where do you gonna be in the future? What do you think? Do you prefer to be in Japan or Brazil? Or
yeah, I prefer to be in Japan. That's why I'm now taking Japanese very seriously. I really want to work in a Japanese company and live here.
Do you like Japan?
A lot.
What do you like about Japan?
The culture, everything. Yes.
What about the culture? Can you tell me, like,
It's much more organized than Brazil.
I think Japan is the only country which is like the most organized country.
Yeah.
Will you be surprised? Probably.
It's very
Brazil is
clean.
going for a lot of political
Compare
problems right
Japan
now.
to any other country. It will be more organized. Promise you that.
What do you think about the food?
Very good. I
Good?
love sushi.
Do you prefer Brazilian food?
No, I like Japanese food.
Mm.
But it's kind of the same because Brazilians eat rice too, so it's not a shock for me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if I had gone to America, it would be a little bit different.
Mm. So in in your time in Brazil, like I would like to ask you, where did you learn English? Was it in high school or?
In a
Because you said
partic-
your parents don't speak
No.
English.
Yeah, I have lived in a particular course, English course,
Mm. Well, when did you take it?
in Hamamatsu. I have taken it for 5 years.
I see. Okay.
So you studied with Japanese teachers or with English teachers? How did it work?
Brazilian teachers and American teachers.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
okay. It's like a mix.
Yeah.
So I have a question. Like outside of the school that you're in, it's like Japan, right? The Japanese society. So what do you like usually do like after school? Like, do you hang out with your friends outside of your school, like going to what is that? Go shopping or like the usual thing that Japanese students do after school or something?
Yeah, we do it too. But after school, we usually go home and just be on the internet for the rest of the day.
Okay, cool.
What do you do after school back in high school?
So, okay, we went to watch movies. We went to game stores? Arcades, yeah.
Arcades.
Yeah, the typical Japanese high school students do.
Were you in any club?
Club, yeah, I was in the soccer club.
Mm.
Oh.
What is like very intense?
It wasn't intense. It was nice.
How often did you have training? Within a week?
Like almost every day.
Wow.
That's
But
not
it was not that bad. It was not that intense, like comparing to other high schools.
But I mean, yeah, for me it sounds intense.
No,
Wow,
it's
when you
not.
go there
Like-
no, I mean if you enjoy it, I mean, hey, that makes sense.
The morning practice was a bit hard though. You have to go 2 hours before school starts, and we have like a training for 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
We have to clean up the field after we use it, and we have to draw the lines and stuff. That was a little bit of pain, but
How is the mentality if you wouldn't do that? Like, for example, if you would skip it one day, or if you wouldn't be able to clean up, what would the others say? Is there anything like?
well, if you like contact them before, like if you contact them, I think it won't be a problem. But if you don't say anything and you just don't go to practices, they'll like treat you like crap.
But you always attended the practice back then, right?
Yeah, usually, yeah.
Just to make sure.
It is the true Japanese, right? He says it is such an intense schedule, but he is totally fine with it.
Fine, it's not really, but yeah. After school, like if you don't work in high school or do clubs in high school, you usually don't have nothing else to do than study. So compared to that, I think it's a really good environment, I guess.
How was the cohesion of the group? Were you very close to the others, or?
Yeah, everyone's really close. Like after practice, we went to go eat, and in the weekends we go out to play around, hang out.
Mhm.
So strengthen the bond, I guess.
Have you made more friends in the club or outside of the club, or is it the same?
Usually
What I want to ask is actually like, with whom did you hang out during your time in high school? With your friends from the club or from friends not from the club?
I guess not from the club, but I was like friends with the people that were in the same grade, like all of them. So, yeah, I think people that's not in the club, I guess. If you say it in that way.
Are you in any club right now, Akili?
No, I was thinking about it, but I haven't have any interest in the clubs in TIU yet. But if there are anything that's interested, I would.
You work any part-time job right now?
Yes, I am having a part-time job right now in a hospital near the dorm.
Oh.
Yeah, really early in the morning time.
What do you do?
I make food for the patients.
Oh.
Not that hard, but it's really early in the morning time from 5 to 9. It's only 4 hours, but it's 5 to 9, so it sucks. But before go to the part-time job from 5 to 9, I'll have the free time afterwards. So go to school and do my assignments after that, and it's really compact, but it's really nice.
How long have you been working there already?
There, it's about 5 to 6 months now.
Wow.
I see. How about you, Jessica? Were you in any club in your Brazilian high school?
No, we didn't have club.
Oh, you don't have?
Yeah, but I used to take art classes before.
Are there clubs in the school?
No.
No?
No clubs.
Oh.
But if you want, you can pay for other classes.
Oh, it will be extra classes.
Yeah, extra classes, extra paid classes.
So we see a very different high school experience. Yeah, even though they are born in Japan.
The Brazilian school you went to, was it a private school?
Yeah, private
you had to
school.
pay for the school fees. Okay, interesting.
So you used to work in a factory, correct?
Yeah.
So could you tell us more about the job, what you do, and maybe the people you communicate with in the factory or in the job?
It's just like a robot. You just get something, put in a box all day long for 9 hours.
9 hours?
Yeah.
Wow.
Was it well paid? Was it well paid?
Yeah, for the job, it was well paid. I didn't have much to do.
Well, then it was worth it.
So who would you usually talk to when you're on the job?
With my partner, you know, we used to work together. She was Japanese, so we just talked a little bit because I didn't know so much. Just very simple words.
And do you do any kind of job right now, part-time job?
Not yet.
Do you want to?
I want to, but maybe just next year. Right now I'm not so confident about my Japanese level.
I see, so you want to work in Japanese?
Yeah. So I can practice.
That's good practice, yes.
Yeah.
So Jessica, so you are from Brazil, so what is your religion? Is it Catholic?
Most of Brazilians are Catholics or Protestants. But even if my parents are Protestant, actually I'm kinda atheist or agnostic. I don't take it so seriously.
Can we still give the podcast to your parents, or would they have
No.
I was actually going to ask about the church community in Brazil, because Brazil are really into are really religious. That is what my perception is. So is that true?
Yeah, it's true. But here in Japan there are a lot of Brazilian churches too.
Oh.
Yeah. Catholics and Protestant churches.
So your parents go there every Sunday?
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes.
Some weeks. Sometimes I forget.
See. Madam? Do you have anything to say, Jess? You wanted to say something?
No, why are you putting me in the spotlight again?
Well, you're another half as well. I mean, you have been on the podcast now for
one
the longest
season.
time. Yeah, for one season. Do you have anything to add? What they said?
No, because their experiences are so different. I mean, my experience is completely different from theirs because I just started living in Japan 3 years ago. I consider myself more foreign than Japanese, basically.
So you consider yourself as American?
Yeah, but I would believe that some personality traits that I have are somewhat Japanese, maybe because my mom keeps telling me to act like in a certain manner. Yeah.
How about your brothers and sister?
My brother is definitely not typically Japanese. He grew up in Guam until he was 13. Then he came here, and which is like 3 years ago. So most of his personality traits, I'd say, are more westernized.
What about your sister?
My sister's definitely Japanese.
So she's now transitioning
yes, she's
to become
very Japanese. She would actually prefer to talk in Japanese than English. And even the way she talks, the mannerisms, her gestures, so Japanese. Very typical for a middle schooler. Yeah. So it is strange that in our family that we have 2 people who are pretty much westernized and then 2 other people who are very Japanese. It's kind of interesting at first, but then there's a lot of, how do I say, collision or traditional collision between in the family. Yeah.
Well, we have asked already Jessica, but where do you see yourself in the future? Do you see yourself in Japan or
yeah, I'd
in
see
America?
myself living in Japan, working here, because while I'm not very Japanese and I still struggle to deal with certain parts of Japanese society, I still feel that I have a lot more experiences to gain here, and there's a lot more that Japan has to offer, even materialistically speaking, than there would be in Guam. Guam has no single train.
What about America? You don't want to go back to America? Don't have to be Guam.
I don't know. I just feel like while I'm in Japan, every day there's something that I can learn, whether it be something in the society or just the language itself. You can always learn a new word. If I go to the United States, I don't really feel that type of optimism, or I don't know. I mean, I can probably live my life way more comfortably there, but I guess there's no interest or no spark in it.
I see. What about you, Akili? What do you see yourself 5 or 10 years from now?
Well, I do like Japan, but I don't like the companies run by Japanese. So if it was like a westernized company, I would definitely live in Japan and work there. But yeah, if it's a bit more too Japanese, I don't really like that.
What about the Japanese company that you do not like?
Or what are some characteristics about
characteristics.
Japanese companies that you don't really find interesting or positive?
They are afraid of changes. They have the typical way of Japanese way of thinking from back then. No changes. There are certain things that you have to do, and the senpai kohai thing, I really don't like that. But I think we need to have respect. But going to the nomikai and stuff when you really don't want to go, it's really, I think it would be a stress, more like a stress. Yeah, those kind of parts I don't really like about Japanese companies and old way of thinking.
I see.
So Jessica, you say you want to live in Japan in the future. So would you like to work in a traditional Japanese company or more like a new startup, more westernized one?
More westernized one. It would be easier for me and maybe for everyone else.
I see.
Well, I have good news for you, because that's pretty much the future of Japan's businesses, actually, because we have more and more smaller Kickstarter-based companies that are coming up, and they're kind of evening out the playing field. And this idea of lifetime employment in Japan, with the hierarchical big companies that take care of their employees for the rest of their lives, and they have to follow the senpai kohai system, as Akili says, those are kind of dying out because they realize those are not exactly feasible in this globalized economy.
Isn't it also financially unsustainable to give that kind of lifetime employment benefit?
Exactly, especially when we are in the process of internationalization. We're getting more countries and more cultures all together. Japan is, of course, still a very homogeneous country. 99% of the population is
98.
Fully Japanese. 98 now?
Yeah, at least 98.
It's changed? Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
See, foreigners are taking over Japan.
Yeah, we have more and more.
1% at a time.
We have more and more particularly, I think it's the Vietnamese. I've noticed there's not just
our school.
no, not just an inside joke, considering how our school is just being flooded with Vietnamese students, but like there's definitely like these improvements and these developments being made from Vietnamese and Japanese relations. You can even see, I think I read on the news the other day that Vietnamese schools, like elementary schools, introduce Japanese lessons. So yeah, that could be the future. You know, you could see Asia probably joining up a little more.
Well, with the aging society, they don't really have choice, aren't they?
Well, it's almost time to end this podcast, and I think we should end it with a good
farewell.
End it on a good note.
My English is gone for tonight.
That's what happens when you go and learn French.
Yeah, I would like to ask you both, what is your most treasured experience here in Japan? Or like, what is like some moment which is special for you, which you always remember? This is Japan for me. Do you have any kind of moment like that?
That's really hard.
That's
That's really hard.
Yeah. Can be anything, you know. It could be just like your first time at a combini buying some coffee. Or
Let's rephrase the question. Has there ever been a moment in your life living in Japan where you felt like, oh God, I really love Japan?
Oh yeah, I got one. Definitely. The Oba-chan, she treats me very good.
Old
very
ladies?
well, old ladies. I don't know why, but they're really good.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah, Oba-chans are really great. It's not like I like them, but it's nice.
It is back in Kanagawa?
No, like everywhere I go. Like,
Everywhere?
Yeah, like the place that I'm working now, I'm like a friend with the Oba-chans there, so they really treat me well. Like they treat me like I'm their, how do you say it?
Grandchildren?
Yeah, grandchildren. And
They are very nice.
but I don't really like the Oji-sans in
Okay,
And how
what
about
you,
you?
Jessica?
Can it be anything?
Yeah, it
Can
can
be
be
anything.
So there is a Disneyland here in Japan. Yeah. We don't have this in Brazil.
Yeah. What do you like about Disneyland?
Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast?
Yeah, I love it so much. So
That's
magical.
a great movie.
And I would love Joe, so yeah.
So
You like-
when you went there, how was the day? Why does it make it?
Why is it such a memorable experience for
Exactly,
you?
I was very young and I was seeing all the princesses in real life. It was magical. Best day of my life.
Do you guys watch Japanese movies? No?
I prefer watching like
Hollywood?
Hollywood movies.
Interesting.
Or
You
Bollywood.
said yes. Anime?
yeah.
What comes to mind? What's your favorite anime?
Angel Beats.
Angel Beats.
Angel.
Angel Beats, I like that. I mean,
That's nice. Oh, is that a movie? Anime is a movie.
That is, I think it's a TV series, actually. Yeah. You don't like Japanese
No.
movies?
I like if you say animes, I do watch animes, but
Sorry about that.
I do watch animes, but like Hoga, like real Japanese movies, I would not pay money to go to movies to watch them.
you won't go to a cinema, for example.
Never.
Never. No movie theater for you.
No. If it's like a Japanese one, I would like wait for like Tsutaya or Gyo to come and I'll borrow it from them.
Yeah, just wanted to know. Yeah. I know it's a random question. I love Japanese movies. My favorite director is Hayao Miyazaki and Akira Kurosawa.
Of course.
Of course.
And
Yeah.
Don't forget Nintendo.
that's a
Some
game
movies
company,
as well.
actually.
Ah, that's nice. I like Miyazaki too. Ghibli.
Oh, well, yeah, that's all I wanted to know. Sorry.
I guess that sums it up quite well. Do you have anything to say? Your last words on this podcast?
Last
Last words.
Or any final comments maybe for other people who go through the same experiences maybe as you, other Hafu, other mixed root people?
Nice phrasing.
I just like that word more.
Mixed roots.
Mixed root people.
Sounds like a vegetable.
Sounds like a vegetable.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
no.
it is gonna be very hard at first, but it is gonna get better. And by the end, you're gonna love Japan.
That's good.
That is true. It will get better, and well, if you work hard enough, maybe you like become like that one in that Japanese society, and you will love Japan. Like the foods are great, and the environments are great, and the obachans are great too. So I think you'll really have a great time.
Do you feel like you are that one in Japanese society?
Yeah, right now I'm like, trying to be that one in Japan, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, good luck in becoming the one.
Yeah, I will become the one. Trust me.
I'm rooting for you.
Thank you.
Okay, well then thank you very much for coming. We
No,
appreciate
thank
it a
you.
lot. It was very interesting to have you here. And well, for our listeners, thank you for joining us today. And we're gonna be back next week, of course, as usual.
Maybe not next week. We want to try and work on this a little bit differently this time.
Sometime
we're gonna
we'll
be
be back sometime.
It's gonna be,
No promises. Don't listen to this.
He's so negative.
I'm a realist.
Realist. And then, I guess, that's it for today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Akili and Jessica, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, and
Thanks, you too.
finally.
ごちそうさまでした